My name is Arja Martikainen, and I'm the Games Jobs Finland woman. I set up that function a few years back when I left the previous company. Actually, the studio was closed. The company was called Digital Chocolate. And how many of you have already a job in the industry? Okay, so there are quite a lot of those that do not have yet. But it's not a problem. If you do not get it in Estonia, you can come to Finland. So this has been one of my favorite topics. How do you seek and get a job? How do you prepare yourself? Since I've hired more than 500 people to Finnish games companies, and the biggest lot to Digital Chocolate, which was quite big at that time. So what else do I do? I've been working as a trainer, mentor, HR advisor. I used to be a HR manager, of course, more than 15 years in Finnish IT companies as a HR. And then now I call myself as a serial recruiter. Sounds more like a serial killer, but my biggest joy is that when people get a job. And then lately I've joined also a small investor club, which is called Sisu Game Ventures. And a couple of topics, big picture, how does the industry scene look like in Finland, trends in the job market. And then we made a small research last year about what are the candidates and employer expectations towards each other, and then how to prepare yourself in order to get a job. So in Finland, we have kind of like these two big giants, so entertainment games, and on top there is like companies like Supercell and Rovio and Next Games, seriously all these. And they create really a lot of money and income. And then gambling games is also huge in Finland, but there are only two licensed companies, Veikkaus and Paf, plus then some subcontractors working mainly for outside, like companies outside of Finland. And then what is coming up, and I think it can be even equally big as entertainment and gambling games, it's this serious games cluster, all these gamified apps, edutainment and such, which can be also very interesting for people that would like to work in the gaming industry to look at. Because if you're not exactly a gamer, but you want to learn the same skills, and you may have also other substance that you would like to put forward. So this is a definitely area which will grow in the future. And for example, in training and education, the market may be equally big. And a lot of money is spent to that. And esports, no, well, I do not understand that much about it, but I try to study it. So it kind of like tries to put everything together from console development till gambling, and then some people are playing it. But that's about it from my point of view. Okay, trends in games roles in Finland at the moment. So we put down, based on our research, some jobs and areas where there is a lot of need, and then also less candidates than jobs. And of course, in the artist area, there is a lot of offering. And very often you see that, okay, there are 70 candidates, out of which not even like 6 or 7 have an adequate, like enough skill in their portfolio that you could think of them. And very often you see that this handful of candidates go through all the currently open job positions, they apply for them, and then one of them is picked to any of these. So it's very narrow, the peak of which the artist is actually chosen. So there is quite a lot of people coming out of schools, art schools, and I could say that for some of them it's totally waste of time to try to get to games industry. A lot of sound design people, and very many of them end up being freelancers. They may even collect most of their income from abroad, doing freelancing outsourced projects and so forth. User support, quite easy way to get to the industry. Lot of people applying to those, and then some sort of managers. Pretty much anybody who works in IT sector in general thinks that they can become producers, for example, but it's not that. So usually I ask these people that, have you ever done any kind of visual project, so anything that has a visual result? And when they say no, so then that's about it. They understand that, okay, maybe it's not my job. And then what are very much sought after? Animators, anything like related to data, business intelligence, like these analysts, good marketers, good community managers, and then business development people, if they are like those that want to do, like that are kind of like natural born connectors who can find people who can get connected. And all sorts of programmers, even average one can find a job quite easily. Then each company there is a locker for UI. So if you are an artist, for example, specialized in UI or UX, so then there is definitely a box for you in the organization, or a UI programmer. Very niche and nice, like good job opportunities, and producers. And then in balance there is like HR, admin roles in general, and game designers. So that is in balance. Okay, so what do people expect? On top 3 on the candidate list, there have been like meaningful job, work community. Of course, people want to find a job where you can find good mates and good things to do, and location. So, of course, it should be in a reasonable distance of your home. And then from the employer side, what they think that engage their current and possible future employees. No, projects. Of course, they are always talking about the projects, so this is what we do. And they want to see that, like candidates, they get excited of the projects. And then they want to offer, of course, like this flexibility, or at least some sort of image of it. So, for example, they offer like opportunity to work from home. And then as a third, they want to support the meaningfulness of the job. And these are results directly from the employers and candidates, what have been their wishes. I do not even list like salary or such, because they come down on the place 5 or 6 or so. At the moment in Finland, for example, the salaries are quite decent already. So, and usually for the candidates, the main thing is, at least to the young ones, is to get a job. That's fair. And for a bit more seniors, it is to get a job that is like where they can do good stuff and get a feeling that they advance in their career. Okay, so how does this match? I think that I put these hearts and stars there, just like that, just to show that on the candidate side, there's a little bit more ideology. So they want meaningful job and good working community, Location is nice and very good and practical thing. And the companies, the employers are usually talking about this more like practical stuff and more of like the actual thing what they are doing. And then as a third, they want to support the meaningfulness of the job. Okay. Then other area I want to share with you is that when you go to the interview, if you are especially doing your first interviews, so even if you have a very short history, but anyway, usually the employers, they look at like how is it written, how is it put up, are there mistakes, just like general like look and feel of the document or the links and whatever you may have. And then if you have been in the business longer and if there has been changes, so no, an experienced recruiter pretty much knows what has been happening in the industry, but then you need to be able to explain if there has been gaps, for example. Why did you leave or so? Especially in Finland, even though there are like 2,500 jobs nowadays in games, it's people, the circles are then still comparatively small. And then, and the portfolio. I've been teaching for like 10 years, or preaching 10 years that please make sure that your portfolio is in perfect shape. Change, like drop off the worst works that you have, put something better there instead. And then nowadays, programmers, many of them are of course tested during the research, during the recruitment process, but all these GitHubs and Bitbuckets and such, where you can put everything, they are more wanted and very appreciated. And it's not just like that, okay, I'm here and I want to work in the industry. You need to be able to pitch yourself also. You need to be able to tell and show what you've been doing, even if you have done things as a hobby. It's equally valuable, even today, to do your own hobby projects, participate to game jams and something. Just do anything alone or with your friends, just to get something to show. That's the key. And then, eventually, if you are invited to an interview, so recruiters and your time is valuable. It's good that you will look at the company and see what is going on there. Go to LinkedIn, see who are working there, and if maybe you can even see that there is somebody who you know and with whom you are in good terms. So it doesn't hurt if you drop a name, so that okay, this Mr. X is like working here. He knows me from school. And then when you get in, just like get the look and feel of the company. How does it feel like going there? And would I like to march in here every morning from now on? And I think that the employers, they think the same thing. It's like, would I like to see this person every morning? As a recruiter, like when I was working as a HR, to me it's like just another candidate, but especially the supervisor, the hiring supervisor that is talking to you. For them, it is important that they can see you in the team. So if you're well prepared and so forth, they wanna more likely to see you in the team. And then try to relax and be present. I've seen horrible examples of interviews where people have been pretty much almost like pushed down and kind of like told that you are nothing. But it's not like that. I try to kind of like put people to tell me what is the best in them. Be prepared to tell in which areas you are good at, what you can deliver. Even if you are like a junior, there's always something that you can deliver and give also to the company. If nothing else, you have talent, and then you have energy. And then on top, if you have passion, that's the main point. And then when you speak with the recruiter, listen to him or her. What do they ask? And if there is somebody sitting beside them, like that doesn't even speak that much, it's of course like they're usually like after the meeting they discuss between themselves that, okay, how did you feel? Did this person look me in the eye, like, or this one was all the time talking to me, not to you, like why? Is she or he is it shyness or what is it? So try to get some contact also. Do not bubble, stick to the issue, listen what is asked. And it's kind of like throwing balls. If there's a good humor involved, yeah, go for it. But it's also good to avoid bad jokes. And tell the truth. That is very important because I've seen sometimes like I have a memory of someone who tried to enter to a company with somebody else's portfolio. And it ended up bad. So I think that the person didn't work in the Finnish games industry for a long time after that. And then it's also important to sell yourself, kind of like trying to convince that, yeah, I'm worth investing it in. Because it's very seldom that the company just comes and says that, hey, come here, you're the one we want. But at some point, you may be such a talent or such a senior, you have some special skills, that you are the one who is asked specifically to join. Okay, and what else? I wrote an article a long time ago. What does it take to get a job? But yeah, passion, you need to have passion. It's like making games is like playing in an orchestra. You either want to play the fiddle or the violin all the day or not. Games is similar profession. Train yourself, practice all the time, and then look for help and feedback. You can get the feedback, for example, here, when you meet your mates, or joining some Facebook groups, or going to game jams or something. So just like put your offering on the table and ask your mates or someone who trusts that, what do you think? Or try to seek advice from the very best professional that you know. For example, in Finland there is this Finkonauts Facebook group, which has like, I'm not sure how many hundreds of people interested in game design or game art. And there are these youngsters that put out their latest works, and also already established seniors that say, like, put their pictures there and say that, hey, this is what I came up with last weekend. What do you think? And then people like give some feedback about it. And then, of course, I spoke to you about the portfolio. Keep on learning continuously, and then play games. The more the merrier. It gives a good impression if you have been playing games a lot. Of course, you can't be super interested in all genres, but it's good to try. And then, when you end up to games industry, for example, in Finland there are more than 250 companies at the moment. There may be 50 or 60 that have like solid business. The rest are like that, yeah, maybe you have a solid business for a year or two, or until the investors' money ran out, unless you secure the second round of investment. So you have to have some sort of like ability to work under pressure and cope with the uncertainty. But if you do your work well, you can be sure that there is coming another company, another bus will pass and pick you up, takes you on board. Because it's all about meritocracy. So games are not like a calendar work. The more you serve some games company, the more you earn the more you merit. It's also like, what do you do alongside when you develop yourself, when you can deliver more and more interesting things. So that creates your own personal meritocracy. And it's also good to make relationships. This is a very nice place to get connected, talk to as many people as possible. And if you haven't met any new person during this event, so it's like you have still like 2 or 3 efficient hours after this speech to go and speak to some new person, because it's important. That may secure your next job even. And be nice to other people. I should have put it down there. Be nice and be cooperative. And there is on the GamesJobs site, there is this how to get a job in the games industry. It's like pretty much all in there with bit more detail. And I'm running GamesJobs Finland. Here are some of the latest entries from the companies. So there are all the time jobs available. And if you feel like working in Finland, come to talk to me. Or if you want to advertise your Estonian jobs, so you can also get as my customer. And because I know that there is quite a lot of Europeans that are following our website already. And that's about it. Thank you. Game on.
Thank you, Arja. And I think we still got a couple minutes.
Yep.
So
if there's anyone who wants to ask, so.
Oh, we got some questions.
Hello.
Hey.
Is it important to have a LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, that's actually like how I'm a headhunter also. So LinkedIn profile is a good way kind of like to find you like on the first level. So for example, when I do research for my customers, so I may go through half of Europe's designers, for example. I check like certain background information through LinkedIn. But then when I get the name, if you're, for example, an artist, so then I go on. Then I go and search for your portfolios. So usually I put the name of the person and then I type portfolio, and usually it comes through Behance or something like that. So there are kind of like 2, 3 different sources. I can also look for certain profiles in Instagram or GitHub or whatever. But LinkedIn is a very good baseline for professional search. So if you're not there, in certain areas they say that you do not exist.
Okay, any more questions? Well, if not, I got one. What do you think, what is more important actually? Is it work experience or is it to have a certain degree in Finland? Because I know how it is in Germany. In Germany, it's more like the work experience is sometimes higher valued, basically.
So work experience or degree.
Yeah, and what companies, what projects you were working before?
Yeah, I would say that like, if you do not have a degree, you have to have work experience. If you do not have neither of these, you have to have talent.
So it's a circle of death.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, but if you have all of it, then it's beautiful. It's really nice, because like in certain areas, if you can do stuff, of course you can be a self-taught, but it may take longer in order to understand like the theory, for example. And companies, they still like they run some processes in order to avoid wasting everybody's time. So in that sense, it is good to have some education.